Hello and welcome back to Creative Perspectives. I was just doing my little green tea as you caught me. If you came back, thank you. And this is my personality on a regular basis. Anyway, she wanted me to do a topic on helping others push through barriers that may come along while they're discovering their journey. Okay, and we are all a part of that game. Like I said before, life is like a game of chess, right? Everybody has their own side of the board, you know, depending on who you're dealing with in that moment. And you have your own side. So every decision you make, it comes with a lesson, a blessing, and it can help you move forward or make you come back to your initial stage so that you can re-examine and realign some of your goals. So I like to do my Bible verses first. Now, mind you, I'm not a pastor. This channel is just for entertainment purposes only. What? But if you get something out of it, that's a blessing for me, because my job is to just inspire. And inspire, get you to know, come out of your comfort zone. You know, life really will throw you so many different obstacles, but it's your job to get out there and don't let it kick your ass, okay? You know, we all have gone through some things, so I'll try to share only one or two things. It just depends on what I'm talking about in that moment. And we've all faced barriers in our lives, you know, and some people handle them just differently or better than others. And I know I keep saying different. I looked at some of my videos. I was like, different, unique. La, la, la. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to it. Oops, sorry. Oh. All right, so the Bible verses that I chose for today's topic is Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So no matter what you do in this life, he's with you. It's our job to utilize him or her for everything, and to take everything to God first, you know, and then we can start talking to our friends. But my thing is, you got to stay leveled. And the way to do that is talk to God first. Ask him what you should do. Send your complaint, you know, up to him. Give him a list, honey. And then the next thing is have faith that he will deliver what you need. And for some Christians, you know, sometimes we sit around, we talk, and we talk about how good God has been in our lives. And he came at the right moment. So I'm not a big fan of timing anymore. You know, I just do what I do, allow God to do his job, deliver his promises to me and to everybody else, you know. But it really does take faith, because if you start losing faith, like, oh, it might not come, or, you know, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Just say it's going to come. But I'm not going to sit there and put all my energy into waiting for that to come. I'm just going to keep living life, making progress in the areas that I need to make progress in, stay on my goals, stay focused, stay committed to what I want, and allow him to work out the miracles, okay? Because we are all here through God's grace and mercy. And life definitely is not meant nor intended for it to be easy and clear. You know, now it could be fun depending on how you look at life. You know, I like to look at it in the most positive light as possible. You know, even when somebody has wronged me, I try to, you know, look at them and remember the good part of them. But I don't have to deal with the bad part. And then I have to decide whether or not they could stay or go. And I talked about that in my last series of forgiveness, which I'm not done with. You know, I keep getting inspired by different areas, you know, so I have, I think, a couple more to go on forgiveness, and then I'll be done. And then, mind you, I'm not using a teleprompter, so when I'm talking and speaking, it really is just me trying to find my way as well. You know, I have a voice, but now it's like, let's get organized. You know, like, get on topic, write things down. So I have like a little notebook. That's my cheat sheet. So I'm gonna do that, and then eventually I probably will do some teleprompter stuff, especially for the intros. But I mean, I'm pretty good at my own intros, you know. So anyway, here we go. Let's get started. The next Bible verse, is from Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6 and 8. Be strong and bold. Have no fear or dread of them, because it is the Lord your God who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Okay? And with that last one, he will not fail you or forsake you. You know, I know sometimes when life gets kind of hard, we can definitely feel forsaken if you're not careful in the way you're about to start thinking. You know, just know he is there no matter what you go through. And that's how you get to see the blessing start unfolding, is by knowing and keeping the faith that he's there. You know, I tell you a quick little experience, because I like to be really quick. But anyway, you know, I got raped when I was 17, and then stalked and raped by somebody I knew. And then after I got divorced, I was raped, you know. And that was obviously someone I knew. I'm not going to say any names, but people who are part of my life, they know exactly what's going on and what went on. Some people don't know, they just, you know. But anyway, just to let you know, that's a heavy burden to carry, you know, because you're thinking like, why would somebody do something like that? But what I did know is, like, when I was younger and I was 17, my first husband, he's the one that helped me through that process. And he was actually there for me during that process. So we got up and we moved to California, you know, because of just a little bit of everything. Then, so I ran away from this situation and did not have proper ways to handle that. But obviously, he became like my counselor without being a counselor. But he was there for me, and I will always love and have respect for him for that. And I'm thankful that we stay in contact from time to time, because he has his own life now. You know, he dates, has, you know, his own thing going. So, you know, because we were married before, every once in a while, we will get on that phone just to do a buddy check, I call it. But we had, you know, well, that's not part of our conversation. But anyway, the second time it happened, I was older. So I've been through, you know, I went to war, Iraq, whatever, and then came back and then went through, you know, the remnants of that, which still kind of affect me today, but let's move it past that point. Then the incident of the second rape happened, or sexual assault, whatever words you want to use. And when that happened, my first thing was I was completely in shock, like shaking, extremely cold. My body temperature was like that. I felt like I was like an ice box and I couldn't move. You know, there was a lot of things going on with my body because of that during that moment. But the very first thing I did is, all I could think of is calling my mother. So I called my mother and she talked me through it. Literally, I called her, like, I blew my mom's phone up, and she was at work because she works, you know, in the healthcare field. So she's in the third shift. So when that happened, it was, you know, going into midnight. And it was done forcefully. So we will leave that topic alone. But when we're talking about getting through a barrier that heavy, now you have to see, first you go into shock. You know, and then your brain, I think, is all over the place when something like that happens, because it's out of nowhere. You get what I'm saying? And it's from somebody you thought would never take it that far, although they've taken other aspects of the relationship to a certain level, which made us split. I just never thought that particular person would do anything like that. So first, I had to go through the emotional piece, obviously, because of devastation. You know, my son was also in the house when that happened. During that time, sleep, thankfully, that God allowed him in his room to stay, you know, for him not to wake up. So thank you, God, for that. So anyway, following that, now we have to deal with the emotional trauma, the mental trauma, the spiritual trauma. And, you know, so I went to emergency room. That's the very first thing. I had to wake my son up, and it took forever. Lord have mercy. It took forever. And I'm not going to go in detail for every single thing, but I could definitely tell you this, to get through that barrier, to make sure I could stay on my life's path without having that to minimize the impact of that, so I could still sustain being a good mother to my son, because that's my priority. It was not him. That's why I got rid of him, because he did a lot of things that were not right. So but I had to immediately get help, just to know how to process what just happened, learn more about it, because it was not just that being the first trauma. That was the second time that happened. The first time I ran away from the problem, but I still had help with my spouse at that time to try to overcome it and to move forward from it. But this time it was a little different, because it's like I shared what happened with me and then that person, because of what was going through their head, decided to do it again. So, sorry, this is my green tea, my superpower in the morning. Okay, so anyway, let's keep moving. So anyway, to overcome that obstacle, I had to get help immediately, because I was crying and then trying to be a mom, and it was bad. So obviously I had close friends that I called, I shared the information with, who heavily supported me, and, oh my God, I remember talking, my mom was just the best. And then I have a best friend, I'm not going to say his name, but it's MW. So I called him, and oh my God, he was just so devastated. He was as devastated as I was, and I was crying, and I called my oldest brother, and then it was bad. So anyway, let me turn my phone. Let me put it on vibrate. Sorry. So following that, I just knew, in order to deal with this, I had to get help, but in the moments before I was transitioning into trying to get help to learn more about my whole entire circumstance, because like I said, there was more trauma that went into the relationship. I was never hit or anything like that, like in the relationship or anything, because he would probably lost his life doing that. But this one was like a calculated attack that I was not prepared for. So anyway, this is a touchy topic, so thank God I am way past this. This incident happened in 2018. So